Just a little bit of an introduction, actually, to what I'm going to talk about. So does anybody here know what the pelvic floor is? In Chinese, it's 盆底肌肉. Anybody know? Nobody know? Okay, I will go a little bit slower, okay? So the pelvic floor, you will think, I'm here to know about my bladder. It's an organ. Why do I need to know about muscle? So I will explain to you why the pelvic floor is so important for our bowel and our bladder health. Where is it? What happens if it's not working very well? And what we can do to maintain its health. So first of all, right, a lot of words, but it supports our bladder, our rectum, vagina, uterus, and prostate. So basically, right, everything from the front of your bone to your tailbone, underneath, if you think about it, is it hard or soft? It's soft, right? It's not hard. It's not entirely made of bone. So actually all the soft little bits that you feel you pat dry on the bottom, those are actually all your muscles, of course covered by skin. So those muscles actually support everything underneath. It is a core muscle. So what do they mean by core? When you think about core, you think, sit-ups, plank. So actually, by doing general exercise that requires you to carry things, like for example, even you go NTUC, you carry your 5 kg rice, your 5 kg milk, right? That is actually a core exercise. So being active is actually something that will help your pelvic floor because it is a core muscle. Lastly, right, the one that's the most important, everybody wants to know, is actually closure of the urethral and the anal sphincters. So if you think about it, this muscle actually, you'll hear a lot about it, is actually a door. Okay, so this is an example for the man. So you can see the sphincter is actually that little hole there. The urethra is on the top. So it goes all the way through bladder, down. So this little red thing here, that is your pelvic floor. So all the squishy bits. So for women, same, exactly the same. It's just that we have an extra little organ on the inside with the bottom extra hole. So that pelvic floor is actually everything underneath. So this is a little bit more complicated version. If we chop you in half and then we see the picture down this way, this is what you'll see. This is your hip muscles over here. Oops, sorry. So the hip muscles, your spine, your back muscles, and this is the inner view of the inside. Okay, so that's the pelvic floor. So when we talk about core, this is where I ask you to do the breathing, right? So if you are breathing in, you only breathe up here. And then over here, you're sucking in. Can you see what happens? You have a lot of pressure down. So you imagine, right, you open your toothpaste tube. And then you squeeze from the top. Where is all the toothpaste going to come out? The bottom, right? So if you're the type of person who, I want to look very nice, I'm going to suck in my stomach and walk around like that. So you've got a lot of pressure coming downwards. If you have a bladder that's full, of course, it's going to feel heavier. It's going to be a bit more difficult to control. So this core muscle works as a group. So basically, if you do pelvic floor, you're thinking about that toothpaste tube and you're learning to tighten the toothpaste tube a little tighter. Sometimes you're sleepy, right? At night you loosen a bit. And then after that you squeeze out, it will come out. So that's what's happening when you have urinary incontinence or fecal incontinence. There's a difference in the pressure and the strength on the bottom is not enough to counteract that pressure. So door. So remember, pelvic floor is the door. But then it's not the only thing that's important. I like to explain the double door syndrome. So in Singapore, we have a lot of these double doors, right? So let's say I open one door, I very kanchiong, I forget to open the other door. Do you think you can go through? Cannot, right? So that's actually what happens when you have urge incontinence, where some people are like, I'm very kanchiong, I run to the toilet. But then, actually, they don't leak, but they have a lot of urgency. So the reason for this is because one of the doors is actually working well. Your bladder, the first door here, the sphincter, maybe not so much because maybe you took a bit too much kopi o gao. Kopi o gao will make this very, very irritable. Not a lot of volume, but you feel very, very urgent. But because your pelvic floor, the bottom muscle is strong, you never leak. If you have double prong approach, drink your kopi, have a beer on top, and then after that, 3 hours chit-chat, very, very full. So this is heavy. The pelvic floor not so strong because it's been sitting down for a long period of time. You get up, a little bit of a leak. So you know it's because two doors are open. That's why you have that little bit of leakage. So it's the same with our bowels. So this is the rectum where you actually have poop stored most of the time. This is your first door, second door. So if you have bowels, so sometimes I think you know, right? Hey, I have to go, I have to meet my friend, right? I go walking, hey, I feel like I need to poop, but not very strong. So actually your body is telling you, I have some poop there. Then the body says, no, I have to go, I'm going to be late. So then you squeeze the second door shut. Then the bowel and the body will say, I cannot go, I'm not going to go. And then you hold. Okay, so that is why we are not leaking pee and leaking poop all the time, even though we have that sensation to go, because we have control of the bottom door. Okay? So the common types of things that you usually see with a pelvic floor dysfunction, because it is a door, the door's function is to open and close, correct? So it's exactly the same. So with incontinence, you find that the door is not shut very well. It's like a little bit ajar, a little bit ajar. You can close, but sometimes it's a little slow. Sometimes it's not tight. You have a little bit of a leakage. So when that strength is not there, you will find that a lot of times there will be a little bit of leaking, pee, poo, or gas. Okay? So all these things are actually signs to tell you that the door cannot shut properly. But what about this one? What do you think this looks like? This looks like poop that wants to come out but can't quite come out. So you know, she was talking about constipation. So with constipation, initially maybe it just started like, oh, I went to the zoo, I went walking, I forget to drink water, my poop is a bit hard, cannot come out. But because it's a bit painful, what happens then is like that, right? So it becomes painful, the door doesn't quite open very well because it's painful, but the poop wants to come out. So what it does, the poop will squeeze through very tight. So for those, any of you have experienced constipation, sometimes it really feels like that, where I've got something, a lot of things there, I need to push very hard, it wants to come out, but it feels like there's something blocking. So of course you have to go and see a doctor to make sure it's not something that's really, organic, actual sort of growth that's actually blocking. But a lot of the times, if you had this for a long period of time, the muscle just forgets how to open. So it opens halfway, and then it's like, I want to push the door open, but I cannot really. It will push open a little bit, poop come out, and then it will close back. So this is another dysfunction, which can go on for a very, very long time, because you can still get things out, just a little bit more effort. And as you can see over here, incomplete boiling means that I pee. This applies more for men, because the urethra is a little longer than women. Or constipation, which is pooping, is difficult. You feel like you really have to push that door very hard to open. Another one is actually difficulty in having sexual intercourse, and this applies for either vaginal or rectal sort of intercourse, okay? So those are a few examples of what can happen, or things that you can feel if that pelvic floor is not working the best. So the purpose of the exercises, so a lot of times people know Kegels, I need to do 100 Kegels a day. So that actually is not exactly the best. What we want to do is we are able to open the door entirely and close the door entirely. So the type of Kegels a lot of people talk about, I think the battery is off, is actually strengthening. So that's closing the door. But as we've just explained, right, if your door is a bit too tight, cannot open, that is going to cause problems. So we want to practice this exercise, close, shut entirely, open entirely. Then you have a very healthy pelvic floor. So we're going to be a little bit repetitive, but actually the reason why is that these are really, really important. What can you do for your pelvic floor health? So number one, it is a muscle. If you use it well, use it regularly, it will actually automatically be healthy. That's why you don't hear about it until later on in years, because a lot of times, unless you had childbirth, you had surgery to the bottom or your abdomen, actually things work very well. Automatic, yeah? Remember, if you just do your carrying, your walking, it will actually strengthen. So all these things make a difference. So the next one I want to talk is bowel regularity. So the reason why bowel regularity is very important is constipation. Have you ever had a poop that was so hard you started to bleed from the back, your anus? So it's not fun, right? The next few poops after that, it's bleeding, it's painful. Every time you worry to go to the toilet, you sit there and you kick, you're not going to come out. So things like that will cause tightness in your pelvic floor. So being regular with your bowels which means eating regularly, drinking regularly is the same track. If you eat right timing, every day you will feel urge at the same time. So it's actually quite important. Like with little children, all of you with your grandchildren, you say, right, before you leave the house, have your poop. Every day same, right? If not halfway in the car, you drive, tell like, Ama, Akong, I need to go toilet now. So you know that regularity as a kid is important as you're older as well. Because if you defer, meaning that you go, oh, I have to go and have my coffee break, I haven't pooped yet, but no time. And then after that, you will not feel it anymore. So then you'll have harder stool, harder to come out. So bowel regularity is important for pelvic floor. Bladder regularity is also very important. As she said, right, there's a bit of a balance. You feel urge, you want to go, but you don't want to go into the habit where every time I feel a little bit of, oh, I must chung to the toilet already. Then you will find that for those, actually it becomes, after a long period of time, and we're talking about 3 years to 5 years, if you start feeling that, hey, every time I go to the toilet, I cannot hold anymore, you know that the bladder has gotten so strong that reflex that you cannot control. So then the door opened too fast. So we want to listen to urges. We don't want to hold there for 3-4 hours, but we also don't want to chiong the second you feel an urge. You must be able to control. So basically, you must be in control of your bladder, not the other way around. Nice and regular. So she didn't give you much numbers just now. I just give you a general amount. If you're drinking about 1.5 liters to 2 liters of water or soups and things, you should be going every 2 to 3 hours or so. So that's also why our segment only 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Anything longer than that, not good for your bladder. So agak-agak, you should be going every 2 to 3 hours. That is normal. If you find that you're going every hour, unless you're drinking 3 to 5 liters of water, that's a little bit, maybe I need to start tahaning a little bit. Don't need to tahan for hours, but you try maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you can control, then you know your bladder and your pelvic floor is healthy, and that is bladder regularity. Last one is exercise. So just now we did a little bit of exercise. We just did your arms, we did your breathing. Other lower quadrant exercises that include the pelvic floor actually is as simple as sit to stand. These chairs are not very good because every time you stand up, you go pop, you hit your backside, right? But a simple test that you can do is you time yourself 30 seconds or 1 minute. If you're not very fit, you're not used to exercise, you try 30 seconds. You just sit and stand. Can you do 10 times in that 30 seconds? If you can do 10 times within that 30 seconds, hey, my lower leg strength is not too bad. That's one of the best ways to actually just have a little test. And then if you're a little bit more fit, of course you can do the 1 minute because that adds endurance. So anything that has a bit chuan, a little bit of leg aching, that is a good exercise for your pelvic floor. So just now, again, she talked a little bit but didn't explain why. That's my job. So are you familiar with this little stool technique? Yes, right? So it seems like a really, really simple thing, but it's so important. So sitting pretty while you poop or when you pee. If you have issues, it doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a man, if you have issues with urination, in the fact that like I pee but feel not empty, feel like half, it's not complete, then it's good to sit down because you actually relax your pelvic floor when you sit. Another problem, especially for us that are not so tall, we will find that our legs are hanging off the commode or the toilet. That actually causes a lot of tension because you don't realize you're trying to not fall off the toilet. You want to actually be sitting a little lower so that your knees can go over your hips. So when that happens, you're totally relaxed. So let's try now. All of you are sitting. I have to do some squats. So you want to sit here. You put your hands. Oh yes, I didn't see the chair. But basically, so if you have your little stool underneath, you'll be a little higher. Don't ever do your tiptoes, okay? You must have the stool. You lean forward. You put your hands on your knees. And now I want you to try. Can you breathe into your belly such that your belly becomes very big? Can you feel what happens when your belly becomes big? You will actually feel under your buttock that the bum will go closer to the chair. If you find that the bum goes closer to the chair with your breathing, that's quite normal, that's quite healthy. And the reason why this is important is because when you open the bum, poop can come out, pee can come out. Okay, so it's very important to get that little stool and lean forward. You don't want to buy the stool, you just get 2 toilet roll, put underneath if you find, yeah, cheaper version, right? I don't want to buy $5 stool. I try the toilet roll first. Wow, like magic. Then buy your stool. Okay, so anybody constipation, you feel incomplete, try to use the stool. Another one is, over here, I want you to be very honest. Don't need to hold your hand, but can you think? Do I make noise when I go to the toilet to urine? Do I like, when you poop, you have to squeeze very hard, like your brain wants to explode. If that's happening, you know that actually you are actually doing the wrong thing. So you're closing the door, then the poop wants to come out, but then you're closing the door. So of course have to have a lot of noise, right? So you want to try lean forward, breathe into your belly. Imagine you're at a birthday party, there's a balloon that's going to knock into your face, and you blow. When you do that, you'll feel the pelvic floor will relax, poop will come out normally and naturally. Okay, so a little technique there, and this is the reason why. So when you're sitting, you will find that actually that muscle is in a shortened position. So if it's in a shortened position, you're not used to using it, you will find that there's a kink there, which means, remember, the poor little cat has to squeeze through. Okay, so actually if you look at your poo and you see your poo is a little thin, you know that this is happening. If you squat, you see, wow, very nice and straight. The poop will literally slide right out. And that's how actually it should work naturally. Unfortunately, nowadays, Singapore is too convenient. No more squat toilets. So we have to adapt a little bit, yeah? So over here, again, I cannot say enough. You don't want to be going forward and pushing down. You don't want to be arching backward. You know how some people will try to make space, right? Push the poo out forward and back. Only those that have done it will understand. But if this is happening, please get checked so that we can make sure this doesn't give you more hemorrhoids or piles. So this is where you kind of want to be nice and relaxed. Do 2 or 3 breaths. The poop should come out very well. So again, good bladder habits mean eating regularly, fiber and water. So water, remember, magic numbers generally in Singapore when it's not 37 degrees, it's about 1.5 to 2 liters. Fiber, so everybody here seen the healthy plate? Quarter, half, the dance. So quarter, half means that you want to have half of your plate fruit and veggies for all 3 meals. Then you know your fiber is about enough. If you're not the type to eat a lot, please don't suddenly, wow, Rachel say you must eat a lot of fiber. And then you suddenly from 1 portion, you go to 5 portion. You confirm will be constipated and bloated. Slowly add it into the diet so your body gets used to it, okay? So fiber and water, very important so that poop can come out really nicely. Exercising regularly. So if you are the type, every morning 5 o'clock go walking, great, continue. If you're not, try alternate days, start to move more, okay? Listening to urge again. So with pooping, it's a little different from peeing. So with peeing, you can tahan 10-15 minutes, not an issue. With pooping, there is a half an hour window. So within half an hour, you feel the first urge. After that, you will find, I'm not sure who here has given birth to babies, but you know when the baby wants to come, the baby don't wait, right? So, but if you want to push the baby out earlier, it's not going to happen. Poop is a little bit like that, where you have these big contractions from the top that will help you. And then when you feel the urge that's enough, you open your pelvic floor, the brain says go, it'll come out very easily. If you wait too long, you don't have the help of these big contractions anymore. And that's when you feel that you have to use your abdominal strength to really push out your poop. Okay? So with poop, a lot of times you want to be within the first urge. Minimally, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you will have chance for it to come out smoothly. After that, it will be a difficult job. You might want to wait for the next big urge to come. Okay, so no straining. This is very, very important. So what about bladder habits? We're here to listen about urine. Why is this person talking so much about poop? So water intake, 1.5 liters to 2. Listening appropriately. So you don't want to go just in case. Like how I'm running off, I go before I leave the house. I reach there, I read kancheong, I sit down and pee one more time even though I don't have to. Things like that you don't really want to do because that will train the reflex to go. So some people will literally, right, they walk past the toilet sign, I feel like I need to go even though I just went 5 minutes ago. If you feel that that's a familiar sensation, you know that actually your brain has hardwired to the sign and not to your actual bladder. Okay, so you want to go don't go just in case. This is one of the worst things to do, but you also don't want to avoid for long periods of time, which means that once you feel the first urge within the next half an hour, if it's convenient, it'll be good to have a urination. For females, cleaning front to back is important because you want to reduce UTIs. And for men, just pull down the foreskin, give it a little bit of wipe with water, clean every 1 day, 2 days. It's important for your bladder health so you don't get infections. So that's quite simple, yeah? So the next one, what we're here to learn, pelvic floor training. A lot of words, but basically we're just going to run through it. We want to identify. So everybody here did not know what pelvic floor is, you know now. But where is it? Anybody can answer me, where is it? The bottom, Okay, we're going to run through. If you're not paiseh, you can put your hand there and then I will teach you how to feel. So isolation, being able to do a contraction well, open the door, close the door, and then improve. So make it stronger and moving it together so that when you carry your 5 kg rise, it works, okay? So let's practice a little bit. Some people are more comfortable in sitting high, some are low. So what you want to try, maybe we don't do this, everybody has pants on. We're not going to put a finger in your anus or in the vagina. That's not very convenient. At home, actually you can actually take a mirror to look. For men, it's a bit easier because if you are looking in the mirror, you can actually see your scrotum and penis lift and relax. For women, not so easy. The women really need to use the hands to feel. If you're not comfortable with putting things in the vagina, that's all right. What you do is actually you put it just here, in between your sit bones. So for those that want to learn, I really suggest making a little C shape with your hands, just popping it where you're sitting on the sit bone, and just don't need to poke very hard. Just push right there, nice and comfortable. Because if you're doing it right, you will feel a little contraction. You won't be jumping off the chair, don't worry. Little contraction and a little relaxation. Another one is tailbone. So you can just put it on the tailbone. You're sitting down, very comfortable to feel. Is it moving? Is it not moving? Another one you guys can practice later, but don't do it very often, please. It's just to test, is to stop the flow of urine. So you sit on the toilet bowl and you just try. At the end of the urine stream, maybe you just try, can I stop? If you can stop, you know your pelvic floor muscle is working well, but please don't practice. If you practice your pelvic floor while doing your urination, then you might have some problems because then it gets used to it. So it's just to try to see whether your muscles are working well. This one was the on or in vagina, and this one is quite fun. Let's try this together. So hands under your buttock, right? Not on the buttock, but just under the sit bones. Let's try that one today, here. And then I want you to go, ee. You go, ee. Can you feel a little bit of a squeeze? It's not very big, you're not jumping off the chair. You just feel that the muscle moves away from you. Another one, letting go, is either you go, very good. Or another, you go, grrr. So those sounds, if you hear somebody making weird sounds, you know they probably come and see me before. You can feel the automatic reaction where the muscle will squeeze or relax. Everyone's a little different. It might be the opposite. It's okay. You just need to find what works for you. Okay? So other things to look out for is your tummy is not going like, oh, I need to kick everything. You can see, right? When I'm doing this, my tummy kick, my buttock also kick. Things are not going to come out. All right? Buttock squeezing, breath holding, or like squeeze. You know how sometimes little children, they want to go toilet, right? How do they stop? They do like that. Right? So if you're doing the exercise and suddenly your legs are like squeezing, oh, you know that you're not using the muscle so much, you're using your knees. So all these things are things you will watch out for. So this is just a nice one because urine always includes water, right? So can we practice? Oh, I feel like a little bit of urge. Let's pull up our pelvic floor, squeeze, and relax all the way. All right, so that's a nice cue. So for men, you want to pull away from the water, and then you relax back onto the chair. For women, the urethra cue, if you think about it, you think about pulling that urethra up and in, like you have a grain of rice, you pull it in, and then you relax back down. So that's a full movement. It's not a training, it's just like that, it's just moving only, okay? So a lot of words. But I wanted to point out, so again, for men, you just imagine shorten the penis, stop flow of urine, or if it's a back passage problem, you hold gas back, pull your tailbone in, relax. And then here's another one, which is quite nice, is to stop yourself from passing water or pulling the skin around the front passage to close. So these are just nice little things that you can try. You want to take a picture, you can. You go home and practice all the different cues, see what worked for you. Everybody's a little different, okay? Some people prefer, as I said, right, to sit more forward. So You can practice, hey, is it easier to lean forward and get that contraction? Or is it easier to kind of slouch back? So similarly, if, like we were talking, right, C shape, sit on your hands, lean forward and do a little squeeze. Do I feel the action? Lean back, slouch a little bit, and then you do a little squeeze, which is easier. Most people feel in the middle is easy. A lot of people find that if you're here, it's very hard to let go because you can see, right, I'm trying not to fall into the back of the chair. So similarly on the toilet, if you have to lean back to poop, you're actually falling over, your muscles are holding you here, so you will not be able to fully relax. All right? So just a few things to practice. Let's practice now that you know where it is. Let's do up and in. So let's do slow contractions. Everybody, please don't hold your breath. I know we have doctors here, but we don't want to do CPR. So pull in your pelvic floor. Keep breathing for me. And everybody count. 5, 4, I don't hear anybody counting. 3, 2, 1, and then let go. Who let go before the 5 seconds? Don't need to tell me, but if you let go, you know, okay, I have to start practicing. My endurance is not so good, which means if I want to hold my urine a little while, it's going to be difficult. So you practice, okay? But you must be able to talk. If not, you are going to pass out. Okay, the other one is sneeze, cough. So the fast actions, or you know, the bus is in front, you have to run. So those type of fast muscles have to work. Let's practice fast ones. We go squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax. So you should be able to do nice ones up and down 10 times. Okay? If you find that after 5 a bit bolat liao, okay, slowly broke it out. So these are the 2 general ones that work very, very well. If you only leak with sneezing, this would be the one I will ask you to do at least 3 or 4 times a day until you get it right. Okay? So normally, the slow ones, you want to try about, let's say, 5 seconds, 8 times to 12 times. And about, if you feel, really feel very tired after, no need to do every day, okay? If you do every day, your muscle get very, very tired. So you can actually just do alternate days. If you feel that it's not working, then that's when it would trigger, hey, maybe I need to see somebody to check whether I'm doing the exercise correctly or there are other things that need addressing. Okay? So a lot of these things is where the therapists come in, because then they will tell you, hey, how strong you need to do, how fast, and how many times a day, okay? So if you have any of the issues with constipation or pain, that one is a lot harder to do by yourself. I do recommend seeing either the doctor or the therapist to kind of manage that, because pain does make things a bit more difficult, okay? So these are just the different positions. As you can see, remember we say it's a gravity muscle. So actually when you lie down, it's the easiest to do. Sitting is a little harder. This one, gravity assisted, usually we skip for your age group, not so easy. So we do 4, 5, squatting. And the last one, which a lot of times you will hear now on social media, very hip, right? I jump on the trampoline, I run, I leap. This is the hardest exercise to do, because you have to be strong, you have to be fast, and you have to coordinate well, and you don't want to be pushing down, okay? So this is just an example of what you'll be doing if you are doing a pelvic floor training. This one skip, but this is an example. Okay, so we've practiced that already. Anybody want to do one more round? We try, okay? So if you are used to it, don't have to put your hands there. If not, let's just do again one more round. Squeeze and lift for me, and everybody count out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax all the way back into the chair. And let's do another 2 more. Squeeze, lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. And we do the fast ones now, so okay? Let's just do 5 fast ones. Squeeze, relax. Squeeze, relax. Squeeze, relax. Squeeze, relax. Squeeze, relax. Very nice. For those that found that was easy, can we stand up? Okay? Oh, nobody found it easy, Okay, come, everybody. Don't paise, okay? Nobody looking backwards, only look forwards. All right, so let's practice again. So stand up for me. If you want it to be harder, you can add a little squat. If no need, just stand. Same thing. Squeeze, hold. 5, 4. Don't hold your breath. I see a few people turning red. Don't hold your breath and relax. Very good. 2 more. In, lift, 5. Breathe, everybody. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. One more. I see, very good. Everybody, I do the squat together with you, okay? Squat down, lift for me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come up and relax. First do the fast ones. 10 times, go. Up, down. Okay, squat. We do squats, okay, ready? So this one is up, down, up, down, up, down. Very good. Everybody not tired. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Excellent. Good job, everyone. Careful, careful. So as you can see, right, pelvic floor doesn't have to be boring. You can do lots and lots of different things, okay? So just a little example. And then if you are very fit, you play badminton, and then you're the type that smash, come down, lead. That's when you're the type that have to do your squeezing while jumping, okay? Here, no need, all right? But that's just an example. It's not boring. It can be integrated, all right? So and with that, I'm done. I hope everyone had an interesting, sorry?
Questions at the end.
Yes, so we have questions at the end. I hope everyone learned something, and I'm done for today.